Alright guys, so today's detail, if you can't tell already, is of a 2017 Honda Odyssey minivan that has been completely kid trashed, and you guys can tell from these before shots how bad it truly is. The whole inside is going to need to be gutted. We're going to have to shampoo and wipe down everything. I mean, this thing is going to need a ton of work on the inside. Not only are we going to do the inside of the car, but we're going to start first with the outside of the car, and we're going to do a deep clean of the entire exterior, and we're going to also use a spray-on ceramic coating to protect the paint, make it shine, because this actual red maroon color that's on this paint is actually brilliant. It looks beautiful in the sun. So we're gonna protect the paint, we're gonna get the tires coated, we're gonna do a full car transformation today for you guys. So if you like these sort of videos, hit the thumbs up button, turn on notifications, and hit that subscribe button below if you haven't already. And let's go ahead and get started because this one is gonna take some time. All right, so for the exterior of the car, I'm starting with using the foam cannon and the 2-bucket method to wash the exterior paint. The foam cannon does a really good job with kind of saturating the entire paint with a layer of foam and a layer of soap. So that way when you go back with your sponge, it does give you that extra lubricity, but honestly, it's more for effect and it looks awesome. So that's why I enjoy using it when I get the opportunity. If you've ever used a foam cannon, you know that you can actually probably just use the wash mitt directly on the car at that point. But for me, I like to use a separate 2-bucket method as well, just to be precautious, to make sure that I have enough lubricity and soap on my wash mitt before I let it touch the paint. Now, if you've never heard of the 2-bucket method, essentially you're just using 2 buckets. One has fresh, clean water, one is your soapy water, and you're making sure that after you wash a panel down, you're dunking it first in your clean water to rinse it off, so that way you don't carry contaminants over to your clean bucket. And then I also have a 3rd bucket that I specifically use just for rims and tires, so that way the brake dust and everything else that gets on those do not get on the paint. Now when you're washing your car, always try to start from the top and work your way down to the bottom. Now on this Odyssey, the front bumper had all those different grills and everything that make it really difficult to wash, so having those detailing brushes definitely help with getting into those nooks and crannies to make sure you get all those spots cleaned as well. Now in this video, I made sure I hired my twin several times, so, make sure you guys stay on the lookout for him. He pops in and out every once in a while. Now for the wheels and tires, I have several different tools that I like to use. I use a harder bristle brush to actually scrub the tire itself, and then I have this softer brush that I use on the face of the rim that's very gentle, make sure it doesn't scratch or mar any of the finishes, whether it's chrome or a painted or a powder coated wheel. And then for the inside of the drums, I have this special brush that actually allows me to get inside the drum, get that clean, but then it also does bend so I can get behind the spokes of the wheel as well and into some of those harder to reach spots. Now that we're completely done with washing the car, I'm going to rinse it down one last time with a pressure washer before we jump into the hybrid ceramic coating. Now, there's many different ways that you could ceramic coat and protect your car, but I've been really keen on using the spray-on ceramic coatings lately. They're super easy to use, they make it really quick for a detailer to get the job done as well, and they do last a decent bit of time between each wash. For this one, I'm using the 303 ceramic spray, and for this one, you need to rinse your car panel off, make sure it's wet after you've washed it, and then you just lightly mist it on and spray it back off again. And you'll get that glossy beaded finish, and it does leave a really nice shine on the paint. As you can see here in the slow-mo shot, when I'm done with washing the car and I'm done applying the ceramic coating, I like to use a plain hose so that way you can make a really big sheet of water and a lot of that water drips right off the car immediately before you use your drying towel to finish the job. The drying towel that I use is actually super thick ply, and when I drop it on the car and literally just can drag it across the surface, that is probably the most satisfying thing for me when you're trying to dry a car. It literally soaks up any remaining water that's on the surface after you've put on that coating. Now that the outside is completely done, we're going to start moving in the interior, and since this is a super trash car, everything has to come out, including the seats from the front and the back. Everything comes out of this thing because there is a lot of work to do, as you guys can see from these shots. Once I pulled the seats out, the damage was 10 times worse than I initially thought. One thing I always bring with me on these details is these black plastic bins that I use, and I just literally throw everything into them that's not straight up trash, but it allows them to then sort through all their stuff and make sure that I don't throw anything away accidentally. All right, so we are having a quick interruption from today's video because I have something that I need to install in my truck. And if you don't have one of these, I highly recommend you do, because 1, affordable, 2, affordable, 3, awesome, and 4, you need to protect yourself these days, especially when you're driving. That's why today we're installing the Nexus 4 Pro S. This is one of those cameras that you're running in your car. It's a dash cam that's recording everything going on in your vehicle, inside and outside, especially if you're an Uber driver or if you're just driving around. Like, I drive a ton of hours on the road every single week. And because of that, say somebody cuts you off and you cause an accident, you want to have something recorded, because if you don't, it's just your word against theirs, and you never want to have that issue. But if you have one of these and it's recording front and back, you got yourself covered. So 1, it's just great insurance to have something like this in your car, because you never know what's going to happen, and you never know if the insurance is going to deny a claim from you. Because what if Bambi jumped in front of your car and they said, nope, you actually hit something, so it's not, and we're not covering it. But if you got one of these, Bambi's on camera. So let's go ahead and get this sucker installed, because I've been wanting these for a very long time, and this is one of the top ones on the market at a very affordable price. So let's throw this thing in. Now, right out of the box, we have our little QR code so we can download the app. We got our rear camera, and we have our front camera. This thing's actually got a display on it, which is my favorite part. Now, like I said, because I'm installing this thing in my truck, the best part is we have our forward-facing camera. The back camera is going to be able to see out that back glass just fine. But if you're so inclined, it also comes with a rear camera that you mount next to your existing tailgate, rear view camera you have. Or if you don't have one, now you do, and you have a backup camera now installed. So that's the best part, is it's backup camera built in, and it's also a camera that records all the time whenever you're driving. So that way you can see if anybody decides to kind of check you from the rear, you got yourself covered. You don't want to be checked from the rear without anybody knowing. Now, the cool part is the comprehensiveness of this kit's pretty awesome. Like, we got little tabs so we can, run the wiring, make it easier to run the wiring. We have in here, this is the little mounts that go on the dashboard. We got 2 different variants of them. And then obviously we got our actual cord that will go to our cigarette lighter to power this sucker. And then last but not least, this is the windshield mount that clips into one of these adhesive mounts. So this is what goes onto the actual dashboard itself. Also comes with more little pieces. This is specifically for that rear facing camera. Little tubing, heat shrink tubing when you're running it through wire loom, but this is the piece that mounts onto the tailgate, so you can mount that rear facing camera. And then it even comes with a little spludger tool, so when you're running your wire through, you can tuck that into your panel without having to remove them by using one of those. Cool part is now this thing can come off and on, especially if you don't want to leave it in your car. It just clips on and off real quickly, and then we'll run the line up to the roof and around and down the pillar. Now, the main reason why I picked this camera in particular is it has true HDR clarity across all the channels. It's got 4K front, 2.5K rear, and the interior camera is still 1080p HDR, which is insane for such a tiny package. It's got best-in-class night vision systems with Sony Starvis 2 sensors. It's got superior rear coverage with, like I said, Starvis 2, IP67 waterproof, 2.5K resolution, and its fast, smart connectivity is through 5.8 gigahertz Wi-Fi, so file transfers, built-in GPS for data logging, all of that's built in and using with the app to make it super seamless. Also, one of the biggest things that I like about it, it's like a Tesla in this fact, where Tesla has motion sensing when anybody tries to touch your car and stuff like that. This has the same thing with advanced parking mode that you can trust. 24/7 buffered parking mode. Anything that triggers motion, anything that walks by your car, it will actually record with its built-in power without the car even turned on. So for 24 hours, this thing's capable of recording with your car sitting still. So if you're parked overnight, parked at, going out to eat somewhere in a parking garage, downtown, wherever you are, even if you want to see if somebody bangs a shopping cart against it, this thing will be able to pick it up with all of the front and rear cameras and be able to show if somebody is trying to break into your vehicle or touch your car in some way, shape, or form. Now head down to the description box below, click the link to check out the Nexus 4S to learn more about it and pick yourself up one today. Now when I was clearing everything out of the car, I could definitely tell that there was a lot of debris underneath the seats, in between the armrest and the seats in the center console, so those seats had to come out, and I definitely am glad I picked up those star bits that you guys recommend I pick up from all the different details in the past that I've done where I haven't had the star bits available to me. And they came in handy for this Honda, and I got both the front seats out as well.
There's so much more room for activities in here.
Honestly, the good news though was when I got all the seats out and inspected just the carpet, besides finding bacon, was that there wasn't a lot of staining. And this is being a black carpet, there probably is some that I could have extracted, but the good news is there wasn't anything like Roach Motel where you had like milkshake caked into the fibers and it was just a complete crap show. When it came to removing the dog hair or any fibers from the carpet, I used the lily brush quite a bit in this detail, but if you have a lot of flat surface area, you can just use a regular squeegee as well to kind of speed up some of those bigger areas. Honestly, I haven't worked on a newer Honda Odyssey, but all these different sliders and panels and stuff for this middle row actually drove me crazy because I just felt they were so unnecessary to have all of these different adjustments because literally you just typically have pilot seats or you have a 3-row seat. I didn't get it, but literally it made it a little bit more difficult to clean it. I didn't want to unbolt it completely just from a complexity standpoint and time, but every panel that I could remove, I did remove to vacuum and get underneath before clipping it back on. This back 3rd row area, you can see here how much debris the lily brush brought up and how much dog hair it removed, and honestly just transformed the carpet itself just by vacuuming and using that brush. As always guys, I try to leave all of the links to every tool that I use in the description box below for you guys, so if you want to check those out and pick them up, they're listed down there for you.
Me over. I kill my fill 3 times a day. These ethanol fuels won't make me sober. One flame to take the pain away. I caught you lighting matches in the back room. Haters look mad when they pass you. Let's talk about around when it's past due.
So now that the inside's completely vacuumed and all the dog hair is completely removed from the car, it is time to move on to the floor mats. And when it comes to floor mats or any kind of carpet cleaning, I always follow the same process of starting with vacuuming, then moving on to using a lily brush or spot treating and spraying on some spot treatment with Folex. And then I have my spray bottle that I use to completely saturate the entire top surface of the floor mat before using my drill brush to agitate. And you guys know I love to agitate my carpets. After that's done, I'm using my extractor, which my extractor, I just use plain hot water because I want to extract all of the dirt along with all of the soap and chemicals and all the product that I applied to the surface out of the fibers to get it completely cleaned. One thing I do recommend for you guys, if you are doing this on your own, if you have some sort of folding table or some sort of elevated surface, it does make it a lot easier to keep the bottom of the floor mat clean without having to put it on the ground, but also makes it a little bit easier on your back when you're doing the job.
in their dreams, but we still wake up and go to sleep. Everyone's seen death in their dreams, but we still wake up from our sleep. I'll be home soon. You don't gotta fight alone. You don't gotta fight alone.
When it comes to applying any of your cleaner, vacuuming, or using your drill brush, or even your extractor, I always try to do a slightly overlap pass every single time, because on the outsides of every one of those tools, it's usually the weaker end of the actual scrubbing power or vacuuming or extraction phase, and by overlapping it, make sure you don't miss any spots. Now this back third row floor mat was probably the best one of all because of the amount of dog hair and just how when I sped this up it looked like it literally looked like the lily brush was just floating across the surface when it got it all out. As you can see in this back third row floor mat, I had a lot of overspray from the drill brush, and when that usually happens, I try to wipe down the surface before I move on to the extraction phase, because if you start moving the floor mat around, all of that soap and stuff that gets on the outside of it will kind of soak back into the fibers. So I always try to keep my work area clean when I'm working, so that way I don't cross-contaminate anything. With how dirty this car was on the inside in certain spots, I was really surprised with some of the floor mats with how little dirt was actually extracted from them. It meant that they were actually kept pretty clean and there wasn't any huge spills, which was nice to see. But I still have the bucket shot and the money shot for you guys here, and how much dirt was literally extracted even though I couldn't see it in my extraction nozzle. Now moving back into the interior, and with all of the caked on stuff in the cup holders in the center console area and several spots around the car, I definitely busted out the steam cleaner to do this job. The best part about using the steam cleaner is it not only helps saturate any of that caked on stuff, but because it is steam, it can heat up and loosen up and melt some of that, sticky residue or whatever it is on the surfaces of those parts. And I'm only using my shop vac here because one, it kind of sucks up any of the water that kind of condenses after it hits the surface, but also it makes it a little bit easier for you guys to see on camera without the steam completely just engulfing the entire inside of the car. Now for the dashboard and the steering wheel, I'm using an all-purpose cleaner and my bristle brush and my microfiber towel to get into all those different nooks and crannies to get those completely cleaned. Also, make sure you don't forget the mirror visor and the little sub window visor thing that they have on Honda Odysseys and the sunroof as well. Those are commonly missed parts, especially if you're just focusing on that center area and the lower parts of the car. Now for the inside of the car, any panels or any plastic trims, the process for me is I always use my all-purpose cleaner and my bristle brush to get those areas cleaned and wiped down, and then I follow up with my surface protectant. And that could be, you know, you have 303 aerospace protectant or you have Chemical Guys Silk Shine. But for me, Chemical Guys Silk Shine has been my go-to for a while because I really do like the finish. It really does give it a nice shine that makes it look like new. Now, if your car is as dirty as this car was, I do recommend if you can pop off your panels and work on them separately, it does make it a lot easier on your back and also with making sure that you get every part of them clean. They all usually typically just pop out and pop back in really, really easily, and it's nothing to worry about. It's really pretty easy to do. Now when it comes to leather seats, there's several different things to consider. Most, if not all, modern leather seats are not actually pure leather like you would think they are. They actually all have a protective polymer coating on them that keeps them looking nice for a long period of time compared to leather in the past. Whereas if you had plain leather seats and you got slight water on them, it would essentially stain, whereas today that doesn't happen. Because of that, when I clean leather seats, I always try to use all-purpose cleaner, wipe the seats down, and then I actually just use the Chemical Guys Silk and Shine again to protect them from UV rays and gives them some sort of, glossy finish to them. But there's not any conditioning that has to take place with modern seats. Now that the seats are done and wiped down, I'm moving on to the interior panels of the car, starting with the trunk sill, the inside of the trunk panels, and inside of the car itself around the cup holders and everything for the third row. I think you guys have probably remembered me saying this in every single video is I always recommend if you have a super dirty car, get the seats pulled out. It just makes your life so much easier when it comes to getting everything clean and making sure you don't miss any spots. When it comes to cleaning glass, I just use invisible glass product and I spray that on the surface, use a clean microfiber towel to do a single pass, fold it over to another dry side, and then buff it clean to make sure I don't have any remaining residue. Now one trick, like this car, it had stickers on the back window. If you want to remove those, I recommend picking up a steam cleaner. It's also good if your kids color on anything with crayons, on any plastic panels. The steam cleaner helps with getting it melted and gets the glue or residue or whatever's on there lifted or at least somewhat pliable, so that way you can wipe it clean with a microfiber towel. It also comes in handy for any door frame or door panel, especially around some of the harder to reach spots with a microfiber towel that have grease. Heating it up with steam and kind of blowing it away and then wiping it clean.
Blinded by the ones I lost, connecting lines of which we crossed.
I also utilized the steam cleaner for this second, third row plastic region to get it completely cleaned. And then I made sure that I followed up with another vacuuming on the inside, because sometimes you can blow like little pieces of debris. Plus with getting in and out of the car, cleaning all the surfaces, doing a final vacuum is something I highly recommend. Now when it comes to any seat belts or this pull strap on the rear row, using a steam cleaner makes it really easy to get those clean, because all you have to do is completely saturate it with steam and then just use a microfiber towel to wipe it clean. One thing everybody always asks me is when it comes to putting in the seats, do you use a torque wrench to torque them down? And I would say that I typically do. And in this case, I did use a torque wrench to bolt down the front seats. The other seats just clip back in. If you are trying to figure out what your torque specs are, I would just search online. There's usually some sort of forum or message board that talks about it, and you can figure out that information. And here are the before and after shots of this transformation. And I do want to say I am super happy that I did the outside and the inside. It's been a while since I've done a full car transformation for you guys, and getting the opportunity to clean the outside, use the foam can and protect the paint, and then bust out the steam cleaner kind of was nostalgic to some of my first videos that I published for you guys. I wasn't able to get the customer's reaction, but I will say they were super happy with the end results. So thank you guys for watching today, and if you've made it this far in the video, I want you to leave the comment meatloaf down below, because I will know what that means, but everyone else will have no idea, and I think that would be awesome to do. So thank you guys so much for watching today. If you're not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe, hit the like button as well, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye guys. Pressure washer, no. Pressure washers for you. Never mind of their own. Anyways, but we have our work cut out today for this. Stop it. We have our work cut out for us today, guys. So the interior airplane. I had like a window of silence there, and I completely botched it. Hopefully one of these previous intros work.